Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So, we are excited to host Dr. Vishakha Naik. She is a practicing ophthalmologist and PCC, as well as licensed emotional intelligence coach. And she's a founder of Insight Edge, where she believes that the true leadership begins with seeing within. And her work blends neuroscience, emotional intelligence, and coaching frameworks to help professionals recognize their blind spots, build resilience, regulate under pressure, lead with balance beyond titles. This session is going to explore why self awareness is not just leadership skill, however, the very foundation of growth, resilience, and authentic influence. If you have ever wondered to see how to see yourself more clearly in order to lead others better, this is a conversation that you don't want to miss. So, thank you, Vishakha, for joining us today, and over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Arundeep, for inviting me onto your thoughtful Thursdays sessions. Okay, and I want to tell everyone that today's session is something that we really don't pause for, and that is why the topic for today is self-awareness. All of you must have come with a background thought in your mind, be it something that has happened at work, something at family life, personal life. Some thought must be there at the back of your mind. I invite you all to park that thought a little aside, be present, participate actively in the activities that we would have on Mentimeter, be honest to yourself, and see what insights have to open up for you for the next 45 minutes that we are together. Okay, so the first two polls that I have on Mentimeter are entirely for me. Okay, so beyond the invite that, as I know, the webinar is mainly meant for CIOs, but then beyond that, the invite has gone to medicos as well because I am an ophthalmologist. So I want to know which group do you belong to? Okay, I'll share my Mentimeter code. Please let me know which group you belong to, only so that I can tailor make my examples while I explain you the tool. Is the screen visible, Varundeep?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Please let me know which group you belong to.
And if you are unable to scan the QR code, you can also go to mentimeter.com, menti.com, and then type in the code, which is on the screen, 45018340.
HCPs is healthcare professionals, okay? Okay, so I think we have a diverse mix here. Of course, the CIO is leading the team, okay? Thank you so much for participating. Okay, we have a healthcare professional in here also. Okay, thank you so much. The next poll is just regarding, it's not a poll. I want to know from you what has brought you here beyond the official invite that was sent to you. Okay, be it curiosity to know more about emotional intelligence, want to walk home with a practical tool, stress at work, whatever is your reason, let me know what has brought you here. Okay. Why am I asking you this is because at the end of the webinar, I want to circle in and I want to see how many motives have I even touched. Come on. Curiosity. I can see almost 16 participants. Stress at work. To learn. Knowledge. Great. For some of you, for healthcare professionals whom I have sent the invite to, it could be even to know what this girl is doing beyond ophthalmology. And I'm okay with that answer. Lovely, lovely. Okay. So at the end of it, we'll definitely circle back to see if I've touched any of these motives that I have that have come from you. Okay. So before we dive into EI, let's zoom out a bit. Okay. Let's zoom out and see what are the types of intelligences that are involved. So all of us must have met a person in life who is very good at work. However, sorry, have I missed something, Varundi?
No, no, no. I think there was a short echo. Yes.
Okay. Can I continue?
Yeah, please.
So I was thinking, I was telling you that all of us must have met a person in life who is very good at work but lacks interpersonal skills. Okay. Why is this happening? Why does this happen? It is because there are different types of intelligences. Now, a great psychologist, Howard Gardner, he has almost defined 9 types of intelligences. Okay, but I think for most of us, even 4 are more to ponder upon. So that is why you see on my screen there's a pyramid, a basic pyramid of
Yeah,
intelligences, which
sorry, Vishakha, your screen is still showing Mentimeter.
is it okay? 1 second. Is this right?
Screen is coming back to- Yeah, yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, it
So
is.
we have this pyramid of intelligences. Okay, the base of the pyramid is PQ, which is basically the physical quotient. Okay, how does your body work? Why in day-to-day life, and how is it while you are stressed? So how are you taking care of your nutrition, diet, exercise? How much do you sleep? All of that is PQ. IQ is the level 2. Okay, cognitive quotient, intellectual quotient. You call it whatever you want to call it, but it's something that I need not describe in detail. The knowledge that we have, the memory that we hold, the skills that we have, depending upon what profession you belong to, all of it is IQ.
कितने बजे जाना है यार?
The next part is
चलते हैं, कर रहा हूँ कैब बुक, सिर दुखने लग गया है।
I don't know. Voice is coming.
सब रेडी नहीं है, सबसे ज्यादा परेशान तो ये कर रहे हैं KPMG वाले।
Yeah, please.
yeah. The next part is EQ. EQ is emotional intelligence or emotional quotient. Okay. Now, many definitions to this, but if I have to really simplify it, emotional intelligence is nothing but being aware of your own emotions, being aware of emotions of others, and regulating them in a way that you build trust and a good relationship with others. Okay, that is EQ. And the topmost part of the pyramid, if you see, is SQ. Okay, now many people call SQ, it's a short form for social quotient. Now, this is not social quotient. Social skills is something that's covered in EQ. SQ, what I refer to here is spiritual quotient. Okay, a line about this because it's something that majority of the people don't spend time on to. It's nothing to do with the religion that you follow. It's nothing to do with which god you have belief in. If I have to ask you, why are you doing what you're doing? If I have to ask you, but whatever you're doing, is it aligned with your values? Is it aligned with your life purpose? Then that is spiritual intelligence. Okay, you must be all knowing or seeing up to that one person sometimes who is calm even in the most stressful situations. Some people carry like that inner compass here, which guides them. Even in the most stressful situations, they are totally focused, very, very calm, leading everybody. That is nothing but SQ in action. Okay. Before I move forward, I want to know from you which of the 4 intelligences have you invested in most until now? Yeah. Which of the four intelligences have you invested in the most until now? Very good to know. Superb. 5 on 20, come on. Are some people replying also in the chat box?
Many people have chat box. Majority of responses is towards IQ. So team, you can go to menti.com and type in the code 4501 8340 and type in response there also.
PQ, very nice. It's very important to invest in PQ, and it's the most neglected. It's great to know that so many of you invest time in PQ. It's amazing. Okay, nice. So, before I move ahead and deep dive into self-awareness, I would want to tell you about the four pillars of emotional intelligence. Okay, so the four pillars of emotional intelligence are mainly self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, and relationship management. Okay, a line about each. So the first one is self-awareness. Okay, as the name suggests, being aware of your emotions. You all have invested so much time in EQ, you must be knowing this, but a quick glimpse for those who don't know. Okay, so self-awareness is being aware of your own emotions. Does it stop at that? No. Okay, it is about being aware of your own emotions and being able to articulate it correctly. I'll give you an example. I have had a tough day at work. I am upset about the outcome that I desired for. I come back home and looking at my body language, my mother asks me, "Are you okay?" I say, "Yeah, mom, I'm fine." Okay, what am I doing? I am aware of my emotion, but am I successfully articulating it? No. Okay, so self awareness is not just knowing about your emotions, it's also being able to name your emotion correctly. The second thing is managing emotions. Okay, that's also called as self management or self regulation. A quick example again. Okay, I am overwhelmed today. I have done a lot of work. I am fatigued, exhausted, and I come back home for dinner. And on the dinner table, my child spills the glass of juice. Okay, and immediately I scream at him. Okay, I have managed my emotion. Have I not managed my emotion? I have, but I have done it in this way. Okay, the same me who is better at managing emotions. Okay, I am stressed, exhausted, okay, tired, and same scenario. Okay, I tell myself I am exhausted because of the work that I've done at my workplace. He has spilled that glass of juice is by mistake. I tell him it's okay, it was by mistake. Let's finish dinner and let's clear up everything. What message am I sending? Are these two different individuals? No, it's the same me who has managed emotions in two different ways. That is self regulation. The third is social awareness. A majority of social awareness lies in empathy. How would I feel if I had to be in this person's shoes? That's empathy. And social awareness is also related to organizational awareness. I walk into the conference room and I sense the energy or the mood of the conference room without even anyone having to say anything. That's organizational awareness. Okay, and the last is relationship management. So after having this awareness of your own emotions, others emotions, how do I use it, the art of managing relationships, how do I build trust with others, is all about relationship management. Before I proceed into the topic for today, which is mainly of self-awareness, I want to know from you which of the four emotions which of the four pillars do you struggle with the most? Okay, where do you struggle the most in these four pillars? Relationship management. Okay. Self-management. Relationship management gets it. I am very happy. Why, you know? Because all of you are self-aware. Okay. Okay. So maybe if Arundip gives me another opportunity, we will take a session on relationship management.
Sure, sure.
Okay. So, before I tell you anything about self-awareness, it would be a but natural question is what is the science behind what I am talking? Say somebody comes here and tells you when you are stressed at work, go and do breath work. Okay, do breathing exercises, do box breathing. Isn't it obvious for you to ask them how is this breathing going to help us? Yeah, and there is a physiological process of its own how breathing helps in stress. So similarly, before I introduce the tool to you, I want to tell you a little bit about the neuroscience behind emotional intelligence. For the non-medicals here, I am not going to talk any medical jargon. Okay, but if at any point you feel like there's some confusion happening, please, I'll answer all those questions. Okay, but I am not going to speak medical jargon. Okay, so the first part, the first location in the brain which is involved in emotional intelligence is the small orange colored almond shaped organ here. Okay, it is called as amygdala. Okay, now what is the basic role of amygdala? The basic role of amygdala is survival. You are walking on the road and you suddenly see a snake crossing you. Okay, it is the amygdala that would see it as a life-threatening danger. It would release fight or flight hormones, okay, which are basically adrenalines, cortisols, okay? And because of the release of these hormones, all of your energy and oxygen is transferred to your limbs so that you can run away from there, okay? Think of it as an internal smoke alarm. All of us have smoke alarms, whether we are in corporate offices or we are in hospitals. Okay. The smoke alarm would detect the smoke coming and then blare off, telling us that there is a fire, run away from here. Tell me something. Can a smoke alarm differentiate between a smoke that's come because of a little spark versus the smoke that's come out of a big fire? No. For the smoke alarm, smoke is smoke. It will blare off. Okay. Similar is the situation with your amygdala. Okay. Whether it is a lion roaring in front of you, or it is your spouse roaring in front of you, or it is your boss roaring in front of you, amygdala does not have the logic to understand who is roaring. It will blare. Okay. So that is amygdala. Is it bad to have an amygdala which is functional totally? No, it is a very important structure. Okay. It has to scan for life-threatening dangers. If it is the lion roaring, you have to run away from the lion, isn't it? So very important organ to have, but does not have the logic to differentiate between professional stress, personal stress, and life-threatening dangers. For it, everything is a red alert. Okay. The next part of the brain, which is involved in emotional intelligence, is the prefrontal cortex, PFC. Very simple. This is the frontal bone. The cortex, the part of the brain which is immediately behind this bone, is prefrontal cortex. Okay, so what does prefrontal cortex does? It has executive functions. Okay, your reasoning ability, analyzing ability, decision making ability, for that matter, even empathy. Okay, looking at things from a larger perspective. All of these are functions of your prefrontal cortex. An analogy to this is like the control room. है ना? There is fire, the smoke alarm is ringing. The control room tells you, people in A wing, please exit from this door. People on the first floor, please exit through this door. Okay, it is like the control room. Okay. Now let's take an analogy. Okay, entirely an analogy. Okay, just to make you understand this, nothing of this sort happens. Say in your office, you have multiple smoke alarms. And there is a group of guys who have entered with a cigarette in their hand. They have gone to multiple places and they are smoking. All of the smoke alarms are triggered. What will happen? Everywhere there is alarm which is ringing. Okay, emergency mode has set in. Servers have cut off their connections. Are you going to hear what the control room is telling you? No. Okay. This is called as amygdala hijack. Okay. Where the amygdala has been triggered to an extent that it is continuously blaring off. Your prefrontal cortex, your logical brain is trying to tell you, no, this is not right. You must, no, you are not going to hear it because your amygdala is ringing left, right, center. Okay, so this is called as amygdala hijack. What is the good news? The good news is there are neural circuits which run from amygdala to the prefrontal cortex. These neural circuits are nothing but of self-awareness. Okay, and even better news is that these neural circuits can be strengthened over time. When you strengthen, when you practice self-awareness and strengthen the circuits, you have a control over the hijack. You get an opportunity to bring back that prefrontal cortex back online. Okay. You have the intelligence to go and check, okay, the smoke alarm is ringing. Is it ringing because of a minor spark or is it ringing because of a major fire? If it is a minor spark or somebody is smoking, can I put off the smoke alarm? So it is entirely in your hands whether you want to take a measured response or you want to let the emergency system continue. Okay, so that is the power of self-awareness. Okay, before I move on to the software of the brain, I would just request Varundeep. Varundeep, is my speed okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah? Okay, fine. Okay, so that's about the hardware of emotional intelligence or basically of self-awareness. Okay, there are many other components to emotional intelligence, but that's about self-awareness. Okay, coming to the software of the brain. Okay, so the software of the brain is like a chain reaction. Okay, there is a trigger. The trigger incites a thought. The thought is associated with an emotion, and all of this leads to a particular action. We will understand this better with an exercise on Mentimeter. Okay. So let's simulate a situation. Okay. All of us, I will give you a situation, hopefully correlates with everybody. Okay. And I will tell you, just imagine the situation and let me know. Okay. There is a 48 hours goal that you have. There is a goal to be achieved in the next 48 hours. Okay. Whatever it is, a presentation to be done, thesis to be submitted in your respective professions. Imagine whatever it is. Okay. And you have worked with your boss until late today. Okay, goal is to be achieved after 48 hours. You have worked with your boss until late today and you have just come home. Okay, it is 7:57. You are sitting with your cup of tea and the phone is next to you. You have just sipped your tea once and there is a notification that pops on your mobile phone which says it's urgent. message from the boss. Okay, and you know how the notifications come, right? Just the first message, it's urgent. What is the first thought that comes to your mind? Okay, so what is the trigger? The trigger is the notification that has come on your phone. What is the first thought that comes to your mind? Oh no. See, somebody is saying anxiety. Okay. See, you feeling anxious is an emotion. Okay. I want you to dissect in a little you brainstorm and tell me what thought led to this anxiety. Okay. I need to go back to work right away. Correct. Okay. Somebody is, yes, open up the message and see what has happened. Okay. What did I miss? Okay. Again, frustration, one part of emotion. Okay. What is it now? Okay. This is nice. Finish the cup of tea and then respond to it. Okay, go through the day. So something has either you will immediately open up the message or you will try and think whatever negative possible. Okay, so you pay going through the details or opening up the message is the action. Okay, I want you to brainstorm a little bit. I feeling anxious is again the emotion. Remember the chain reaction? There is a trigger, there is a thought, there is an emotion attached to it, and then there is action. Okay, so what is the first thought that comes to my mind? Okay, I like the response. Okay, so considering the thought that has come to your mind, okay, what is the emotion that is attached to this thought? Come on. So somebody had already said frustration. He's not even letting me be at home after 8 p.m. Frustration. Okay. Have I missed something? Anxiety. Okay. What else? What other emotions can you think of? Yes. Annoyed, angry, disappointed. Very nice. I have done all the possible work for the 48 hours goal and he's still messaging me. I am disappointed, upset. Okay. Any more emotions? Irritated. Very nice. Come on. Hopeless. Absolutely. Open up your vocabulary. Wait, relax, and then look at what has happened. So, relaxed. Okay. Irritated. Okay. Worried. Yes. Very nice. Okay. So, depending upon your primary thought which came to your mind, seeing the notification on the phone, these are the emotions which are attached to that thought. Correct? What is the action that you will take? What is the action that you will take? No actions? Don't open the message. Chill. What actions? Come on. No action. Check it next day. Best. You can tell, sir, I did not even open my WhatsApp yesterday. I have not seen it. Continue sipping my tea. Ignore for some time. Okay, someone saying open the message. Okay. Okay. Go airplane mode. है ना? खुद का भी airplane करो. सबका airplane पे करो. So that he is not able to contact you. Open the message and understand what has happened. Correct. If it was urgent, I would have got a call. So don't bother. Align the task if really looks part of priority list. Okay, so basically open the message and check if something has to be prioritized. Okay. Fine. So you've understood that the software, right? So there is a trigger, there is a thought, there is a emotion, and there is action. Now, why am I telling you about this software? Okay, I am telling you about this software because the earlier in the software do you intervene, the more options you have to respond. Okay, I repeat myself again. The earlier in the software do you intervene, the more options you have to respond. Okay, if I have to go back to my example of self-management, okay, I have come home frustrated because of my work and my child has spilled the glass of juice. Okay, if I have to tell myself, okay, the trigger is the juice being spilled. If I have to tell myself that happened by mistake, I cannot remove my office frustration on him. Okay, I am acting very early in the software versus I scream at him and then in the night I go and I introspect. I shouldn't have screamed at him. Okay. Why am I telling you this? Is because usually when we introspect, we look at actions. We don't dissect and look into what is our primary thought that comes to our mind, what is the emotion attached. We look directly into actions. And as leaders, whether you are leading data systems or you are leading ICUs or you are leading operation theaters, as leaders, what people look at are actions. People follow us for those actions and we get rewarded also for those actions. So when we introspect into anything, we introspect only at the action. Next time you introspect, I want you to journal or introspect about all of these four things. Okay. Right from the trigger. Trigger may or may not be in our hand, but thought, emotion, and action is definitely in our hand. Okay. There are instances where we cannot spill our raw reaction as leaders. Okay. If there is a death of a patient, can I go to the relatives and cry? No. Okay, we cannot spill our emotions as leaders. What do? We wear a mask. We try to cover our panic with confidence. We try to cover our irritation with silence. Okay, we try to cover our exhaustion with busyness. This is nothing but an emotional mask worn. We are not here to be judgmental. Let me be very clear. We are not here to be judgmental, but I want you to introspect and ask yourself, or rather than that, what you can do is you can think back a week ago or in recent times, any situation where the emotional volumes were very high and you have worn an emotional mask. And I want you to let me know, how do you usually mask your emotions? Okay. While you think about it, I will give you a few examples. Okay. I am in a group. Somebody is talking and somebody says something to me. I don't like it. Okay. I wear that typical smile. You know, sabka hota hai na. Okay. We have that nice smile. Okay. So somebody is saying, I can't mask my emotion. Thanks for being so honest. Okay. So we wear that atypical smile. Okay. Yes, you go silent. Correct. I'll tell you what my husband does. Somebody says something to him now and he gets a little off. He would cover it up with humor. So humor is his emotional mask. Okay. Why am I telling you to introspect and look into your emotional mask, not to be judgmental? See, having an emotional mask is not a bad thing at all. Like I told you, we cannot be crying when a patient dies. We have to wear an emotional mask. Similarly, we as leaders cannot throw up our raw emotions everywhere. We have to wear our emotional mask. Some people avoid eye contact. Some people immediately change the topic. They don't want to go through that topic. These are the emotional masks that we wear. For some of you, it will be very difficult to introspect currently and tell me what your emotional mask is. Please go back home. Think of a recent situation where the emotional volumes were very high, okay, and you have masked your emotions. Okay, some people, yes, cannot mask them. Like somebody said, I can't or express upfront. It's fine. Okay. And there is a small homework, if you don't mind. Yeah. Because it is that question is going to take some time. Okay. I want you to go back home and if that mask of yours could speak, I want you to ask that mask, what would it say it's protecting you from? Okay, for those of you who are already into Insight Edge programs, please add this to your activities. If your emotional mask could talk, what would it say it's protecting you from? Okay, next. Is any mask airtight? No mask is airtight. Okay, at least oxygen carbon dioxide to exchange hona hi hai na. Okay, similarly, many a times these emotional masks slip. And when they slip, sometimes even the most disciplined professionals have had it. Okay, why am I talking about the mask slipping off? Okay, see, when the mask slips off and the energy or the emotion attached leaks, people resonate more with the leak of that energy than the words that are coming out of your mouth, or they correlate more with that energy which is leaking out than what action you're doing. You may be speaking out absolutely sense, you may be speaking out sweet words, but if there is a leakage of that mask, then people resonate more with that leak. Okay, I want you to again introspect and tell me, how does it show up for you when the mask leaks? And as you introspect, I will give you a few examples. So somebody said, we stay silent. Okay, somebody has said something, you have become very, very silent. And now it's your turn to speak. You have to speak. You speak with a very clipped tone. That clipped tone is your mask leak. Okay. Some people have my mom, she says on her face that on her face it's okay, but the kind of facial expressions that she carries, you know that her mask has slipped. Her emotions are very much visible on her facial expressions. So her facial expression is a sign that her mask has slipped. Okay, some people it's very much visible on their body language. Okay, I carry myself this way and suddenly I am carrying that polite smile on my face, but my body language. Okay, why am I asking you about what is your emotional mask and what does it look like when your mask slips? It is because it's good to have an emotional mask, but I want this prefrontal cortex, the logical brain, to take a decision given a situation whether that mask is to be worn or it has to be set aside and those emotions have to be managed in a particular direction. It is for our conscious brain to take that action. Okay, so keeping silent is an emotional mask. Say that mask has leaked, how are you going to express yourself? That is the question. Okay, so double face, change the way of response. Yeah, some people have a very different choice of words that they use when they are mask slips. If you notice some people, very sharply, some people very close to you, you will know that. Okay, so why this entire exercise is important is because you should know where to use that mask, and if you are not using that mask, how are you going to regulate your emotions? Okay, again a quick homework for you. Go back home and think about this. Okay, that if you reimagine, or if you could go back into the moment where your mask slipped, okay, how could you channel that same emotion? What would be different? Okay, how could you channel that emotion in a way that aligns with your values and with the outcome that you want? Okay, please go back home and think about one situation where your mask leaked and see how you could do it the other way around. Okay, so the tool for today is something that you've already learned, but I'll just put it up into words. The tool for today is the 3R model. The first is recognize. The first R is recognize. What do I want you to recognize? I want you to recognize the thought, the emotion. Remember the first two parts of the software. And I also want you to recognize your emotional mask and how do you look up when the mask slips. Okay, this is what I want you to recognize, the four things. Reframe. Okay, now there is a subconscious thought that comes to your mind when there is a trigger, right? When you saw the notification, you thought, oh my. Okay, so there is a subconscious thought that came to your mind. I am not telling you to make your thoughts positive. Now, okay, in situations that are bad or critical, negative thoughts will pop in. I want you to reframe your thought or look at it from a different perspective. Ask yourself, is there any other lens through which I could see the same trigger? Is it possible that the notification on my phone, the message from my boss could be just that tomorrow I'm not coming to work, so please reschedule my meeting? It could be a message from your HOD saying that tomorrow lunch is sponsored. Please don't carry your tiffin boxes. Don't prep for your lunch tomorrow. So it's urgent. Okay. So no thought can be positive or negative. I just want you to get into a habit of looking at it from a different perspective. Okay. And the third is response. Okay. Choose your response. Don't react. Reaction is something that comes very subconsciously. Choose your response. Varun, if we are not running out of time, can I cite a recent example for the
Yeah,
3R model?
yeah, please.
Yeah. So recently, I was working with a general surgeon, okay, into the Insight Edge programs. He's enrolled and he's a general surgeon. So we were on self-management. And what I told him is, we were on the skill where you learn to manage your emotions even in high pressure situations. So I asked him, think of a recent moment where your emotional volumes are very high. So this doctor tells me last week I was operating on a minor case. Okay, I usually wrap up this case in 10 to 15 minutes. And because it is a minor case, for the non-medical, so the minor cases, now sometimes those major instruments are not attached, like the suction machine, cautery and all, because there's hardly any bleeding that you expect. Okay, so this fellow landed up with an unexpected bleeding. Okay, he landed up with an unexpected bleeding. So anxiety. He told the assistant, give me the suction machine to suck out the blood. So she attaches the suction machine and the suction probe is not working. Okay. So he tells her, see, the suction probe is not working. Please give me an artery. Artery is an instrument which clamps two tissues together. Okay. So it's like a temporary hold onto the bleed. And this assistant in Gadbad, she hand over some other instrument. Okay. So how many triggers does the doctor have? Unexpected bleed, suction machine not working, and her handing over the wrong instrument. 3 triggers at the same time. So I asked him, what thought came into your mind, doctor? So this fellow tells me, you're asking me about the thought. I can imagine the entire situation. I was screaming at the assistant left, right, and center. It's like, okay, see, you screaming at the assistant is the action that you have taken. Okay, I want you to do a surgery of your thoughts and tell me what came into your mind before you actually screamed at her. So it's like, obviously, I was angry, no? So I was like, okay, you are angry. That is your emotion. What thought came to your mind which made you angry? So he was like, the unexpected bleeding, and because this female acted this way, I thought she's the most useless assistant that I have. So the 3 triggers, the thought that she is the most useless assistant, followed by anger, followed by him screaming. I asked him, see, if you could reframe this thought, okay, has she assisted you before? She said, she's been there in my OT since 3 years. All OT is going successful. Have you ever found her useless before? No, doctor, I've never found her useless before. I said, if you could reframe this thought, what would you do? So he said, He thought about it for a while and he said, okay, maybe she's never seen an unexpected bleed in that 10-minute procedure. She got nervous. On top of that, the probe was not working. So she got nervous and she gave me the wrong instrument. I said, having known that she is nervous, how would you act? So he was like, no, I would tell her, see, it's something very much manageable. You just have to attach the cautery and I can manage. Okay. So this is the 3R model. Okay. You recognize what are your thoughts, emotions. You recognize, you try to reframe, you change your perspective, and then you respond. Choose to respond. Okay. You don't react. Now, the most important part. So, everything done, doctor tells, okay, I've understood everything. At the time where there is such amount of bleeding, it is a matter of life and death. You are a surgeon yourself and you are telling me, you think about my trigger, my thought, my emotion, and then choose to respond. How is that even possible, doctor? I said, I understand. Okay. It is a high stake situation. Okay. For the tech professionals who are here, you are on your launch for a major project, you are presenting something, all the media are there, everybody is online, and your system collapses. Okay, you would also ask me the same question, how do I do all of this that you are telling when the situation is so, what do I call it, life and death? Yeah, for the surgeon, very very high stakes. Maybe the company's reputation is at challenge, your finances are at stake, how do you do all of this, plus your emotional volumes are so high, you're so anxious, and time is running out, you have to stop the bleeding, you have to get the system back online. So I asked him, doctor, when you screamed at her, did you do all of this? Okay, did you think about, this is my trigger, so I think she is useless? You cannot even tell me what was your thought 10 days from the procedure now. Patient is fine, discharged, gone back home. But you cannot rewind also their thought for me. Did you think of the software that I have taught you now before screaming at her? That reaction came very spontaneously, right? So then why can't the reaction that I am telling you to do today, why can't it come very spontaneously? Okay, so the good part here is emotional intelligence is not something that we are born with. It is a skill that can be learned. Remember the neural circuits going from amygdala to prefrontal cortex. These can be strengthened. Okay, and when you strengthen it at a very basic level, okay, in your day-to-day life, okay, when you actually, there is a moment which is of such a high stake, it comes very subconsciously. Okay, if emotional intelligence was to be used only in ICUs, boardrooms, operation theaters, it wouldn't be as much of worth. But emotional intelligence is something that shows up in our kitchens, dining room, living room, bedroom, even in those family groups that we make on WhatsApp nowadays. Okay. So if you practice self-awareness, if you practice this at your home, then it comes very naturally when it is a high stake moment. Okay. Before I stop the last activity for the day, I would really want to know from you, what is the biggest insight that you are walking with away from today? The 3R model, was it a little toxic, Varundeep? Was it too much?
No, no, no. Was
The
nice.
3R model, analyze the situation and respond. Be calm before the chaos sets in. If we circle back into our motives that you had come with, are any of them even touched? Wait, analyze, respond. Yeah. So 3R is the crux of it, basically. Okay. Act according to the situation, correct. Act and choose to respond, most importantly. Basic understanding of the hardware, correct. Okay, thank you so much. 3R, yes.
And team, you can also type in how did you find today's session? Yeah, Kiran, you have some question? Let me unmute. Yeah. You can unmute. Kiran, ask the question. Kiran, am I audible?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. So I
Everybody
think,
who's in the chat.
yeah, Kiran has some question. Kiran, thank you
She's
for
on
the.
mute.
No, I have asked her to unmute. She can. Yeah. No question. Okay. Okay, thank you, Kiran. So thank you, Vishakha. I could see from the chat box responses, everybody has found the session insightful, interesting, and practical. And they have put in also that there are certain things which are beyond control also. However, I think with better response following the 3R model and imagining the situation, we can take better care of the situation rather than thinking rather than allowing the ripple effect to happen and creating more mess out of the already disturbing situation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. So thank you very much, Vishakha. I really enjoyed your session, and I am sure our participants too. Like you can see, the chat box is continuously filling up with praises about the session that you have, and definitely we would like to host you sometime in near future also with relationship management also like
Management, yes.
yeah, you suggested.
Definitely.
Right?
Yes.
So thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Good night,
Look forward.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye.